Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Avatar: The Last Airbender. If this episode seems a little bit short to you, there is a reason for that. And, yeah, the thing is, I watched the entire episode for today, and the camera was in a different focus mode because I went out and changed some stuff. So, instead of it being on continuous, it was on manual. And I looked like a blurry mess, so instead of uploading that, I'm uploading this one. So, and I'm also trying to change the formula to this YouTube thing, testing it, if you will. So, for this episode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about the episode and add little clips in as I talk about it and give you my full review as I go through. I may not stick in chronological order, but I will try my hardest to kind of stick to the chronological format for you, so that way it's not just all pieced together. So, I did just get done watching the episode, and then I put it on my computer and noticed that I was out of focus, so, okay. If you guys do like this format, let me know in the comments. And if you do not like this format, let me know in the comments, because I want to know what you guys like. Some people like the longer reaction, me laughing, saying haha and stuff, and other people just want to get to the bread and butter of what do I think about the story. Let me know in the comments, because I trust your opinion. I'm doing this video for not only myself, but for your entertainment. So, yeah, without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Here we go. Alright, so at the beginning of the episode, we are kind of just there, and they find this sword. We're in the woods. They find this Water Tribe sword. They also see that there was a Fire Nation battle between the Fire Nation and the Water Tribes, because there were cuts and burn marks in the trees. This one is called Bato of the Water Tribe, and we do end up meeting Bato, but not quite yet. So, going on from there, they find this this Water Nation sword, which is pretty interesting because it's from a bone of this animal, and that's basically what the Eskimos would do. So they're very Eskimo-esque, if you will. Pun intended, I guess.
Hey, look! A sword made out of a whale's tooth.
Let me see that. This is a Water Tribe weapon. See if you can find anything else.
They know that the Water Tribe is close, but they don't know where they're at, so they just kind of wander around a little bit. They do end up finding this, Fire Nation, they do end up finding a Water Nation boat, and they make camp for the night. And then that night, as they were just hanging out, talking about old stories about the men of the tribe and how they went off to the war on the mainland from the South Pole, they had a little flashback with Sokka showing his dad and how he wanted to go, but he said, no, a real man has to, take care, like, a man at your age needs to know, like, how to take care of stuff, and I need you to stay here and take care of your sister.
I'm brave? I can fight! Please, Dad!
Being a man is knowing where you're needed the most. And for you right now, that's here protecting your sister.
I don't understand.
Someday you will.
And that's all a part of becoming a man, is knowing when you need to go and when you need to stay. He needs to stay because there's no one else to protect his tribe. They went off because I believe, and this is just my theory, is that they knew that if they didn't get involved, that the Fire Nation would eventually take over everywhere and come up or down, as it were, to them. Because there is a northern water tribe. There's a southern water tribe that is theirs. So they're there. One of the tribesmen from their old tribe who went to war pops up out of nowhere, and it's pretty interesting because he has been kind of attacked. He's wearing a bandage. He has this bandage on his arm. He shows up. He knows the kids, obviously, because as we've seen in the beginning, first few episodes, their tribe is tiny. Even with the men there, it's not a big booming city. It's just more of a tiny little village. So he knew these kids. So he's there and he says, oh, I talked to your dad like a couple of days ago. He's over here in the Earth Nation trying to help them out with the war against the Fire Nation.
After I was wounded, your father carried me to this abbey. The sisters have cared for me ever since.
So there's all that. So we know that the dad is still alive. This is basically the uncle, Bado, or Beto, if you will. So he's basically like a surrogate uncle to them. There is a thing in the water tribes culture where when you, I think, hit 13 or something, when it's time to become a man, you take a little test, which is...
What's ice dodging?
It's a rite of passage for young Water Tribe members. When you turn 14, your dad takes you... You know what? You're about to find out.
The iceberg test, basically, but where you go into basically a field of icebergs and you have to navigate your boat through, and if you survive or at least don't crash, you get that rite of passage, basically. So instead of doing it with ice, because they're in the Earth Nation, not in any of the South Poles, they do it in rocks. So it's basically just a test of your leadership and ability and bravery and all of that basic stuff. So that was a fun bit, having them go through, and the what I would say surrogate uncle just sits there on the floor letting them do whatever they need to do until it gets a little bit of the fan gets hit, and they have to figure out how to get themselves out of that situation real quick because they're coming up against a rock wall. So they decide to just lift themselves up with their abilities. Aang kind of parachuted them up while Sokka kind of told them all what to do, and the sister lifted up the water while Aang lifted up the thing, and they went over. So pretty interesting to see that, and how he was kind of quick on his feet to figure out how to get them out of that situation. He actually has become less of an idiot and more of a leader / thinker in the series, which is really cool to see that kind of progression, at least so soon in the series. So we survive that. And then we go to this little village, and there's a monastery or something, or a temple, and it's pretty much all women except for maybe a few men, and they are basically like nuns and monks. Okay, and their job is that they make to basically survive, and this is very traditional of like monks and monasteries and nuns and monasteries or nunneries or whatever you want to call it, to work in some way to make your money. So they, sometimes they just they'll make bread, or they'll make cheese, or they'll make whatever's around them. So these guys are making perfume.
It's truly an honor to be here. If there's anything...
What smells so good, Bato?
The sisters craft ointments and perfumes.
Perfume? Maybe we could dump some on Appa.
Which has a big thing to do with this story, but we won't get into that quite yet. But it's a little note on this episode. So So we get to this point where we go to Zuko, and he's on his boat, and this random chick on a thing, looks like an anteater fox thing, goes in there and rips up all of his metal, because they're Fire Nation. They have these big metal floors, and they rip off this floor, and they find that this guy was hiding in the bottom of the boat, and she's like a bounty hunter, and this thing that she's riding, that's half the size of Appa, I would say, sees smell. So it's very good to be able to track with this thing. I don't know what it is yet. Once I do, I'll put a little pop-up tag for you guys. It's pretty interesting. We find out that her name is June. They get pissed off because she ripped up their ship and stole someone that was either a stowaway or was going to be a crew member. So they got pissed off and went to find her in this bar, and she basically, tells them, go away. But then they go outside. Her monster dog thing comes over, and she says, they say, "Oh, we'll pay you in your weight in gold." She says this to Uncle Iroh. I'll take it if I get paid in your weight in gold.
Plus, we'll pay your weight in gold.
Make it your weight, and we got a deal.
You got it.
So that was funny. So she takes the job. They still have the necklace that Sokka lost from the other episode, and so they use that to track them. Aang gets a note from the Earth Kingdom saying where the dad is supposed to be.
I'm looking for Bato of the Water Tribe.
I know Bato.
Make sure he gets this.
It's the map to Sokka and Katara's dad.
And selfishly hides the fact that he knows where the dad is supposed to be, because he has to get to the North Pole to finish learning his water bending, and he doesn't want to lose his friends because they already have this other person that they know, and he's losing their attention, and so he gets jealous and hides the note, and that's never a good thing. So now we have this lady and Prince Zuko and Uncle Iroh chasing the Avatar, and they're not quite there yet, but they're figuring it out. On this little montage that they do, we do see the crazy frog lady from the other episode, which is fun. The crazy lady with the cat, and that was cool. I don't think that they killed her or anything, so she's still alive, which is good. Eventually, Aang hides the fact that he has this note, but he eventually tells them that he does, because after the whole boat thing, they all get symbols of the Water Tribe, and he says that, you're an honorary member of the Water Tribe.
And for Aang, the mark of the trusted. You are now an honorary member of the Water Tribe.
I can't.
Of course you can.
That hits Aang really hard in the feels, and he says, you know what, I lied. I'm not I can't be a member of the Water Tribe because I lied, and I have this note, and he hands it to them, and they get pissed.
No, you can't trust me.
Aang, what are you talking about?
A messenger gave this to me for Bato. You have to understand. I was afraid he was...
This is the map to our father! You had it the whole time?
And they, tell, the uncle's right there, and the uncle has to obviously go and find the dad, and the kids obviously want to go find their dad, so they decide to leave the Avatar One, because he lied, and two, they want to go see their dad, and the Avatar, basically says that I have to go up to the North Pole still, blah, blah, blah. So they eventually figure out that stuff is going on. They do split up for a bit. Avatar comes back to the temple after they have left, and he just went off to pout and stuff, and he came back to the temple, and we find out that the June lady and, Uncle Iroh and Prince Zuko were there, and they, tore up the place kind of, and that they were tracking the necklace. So because the Avatar's not with them now, they're going after the brother and sister and their uncle. Well, their uncle.
A group of people came to the Abbey looking for you.
Who?
A fierce-looking woman with a horrible monster, and a young man with a scar.
Zuko.
The beast was using the scent of a necklace to follow you.
That happens all pretty quickly. So he has to now go and chase them down before this crazy lady and Uncle Iroh and Prince Zuko get there. And he gets there, right after, right as the other people get there. Probably because they took this big detour around to the other places that we've just been to. So it's they have a little scrimmage. The thing that June, the lady, is riding on has a poison tongue thing, so it can paralyze whatever it hits. The smaller the better. Bigger things kind of wears off quicker. Smaller things like humans and maybe small animals, it paralyzes for a longer amount of time. They finally get to the temple, and then this is where the action really kicks in. Big fight scene, and they use the perfume that the monks and nuns were making to make the giant monster thing nose blind and vamoose, leaving. And she the brothers, Sokka and Katara, both get hit with the tongue thing.
I'm starting to get some feeling back. Ow.
So they're basically kind of just sitting there paralyzed, stuck. And the lady, after the thing goes noseblind, gets hit by the tongue as well and goes off. There is this weird little flirtation that Uncle Iroh does, because I guess he finds her cute or something, and she falls on him, and he is sitting there sleeping, and Zuko was like, I don't remember seeing you get hit by the tongue thingy.
I didn't see you get hit with the tongue.
And she's still awake, just sitting there, and he's cuddling her. And he's like, shh, don't tell anyone. And so, she can't move. So that's just kind of weird and interesting, I guess. I don't know. It was just kind of a weird thing to have in there. But they get away, fly away. The uncle had already told them that he'll go on ahead and find the dad, and he understands if they don't catch up until after the war, because having the Avatar learn the bending is way more important than them being together. So that basically ends the episode, except for at the very end, Aang has the necklace and gives it to Katara. So very interesting episode. Kind of fun to see two new characters that aren't necessarily main characters, but I believe they do pop back up at some point, even if it's just a little montage of people we've seen before. And so that is pretty interesting to see new character developments, new characters being added, continuing the storyline, and it's not just a hey, there's a side quest episode, which was the last few episodes have been just kind of side quest things. This was, oh, Zuko's right on your tail, we need to do something. There's a, oh, our dad is here, we need to do something. And we get more flashback on the brother And so that's cool because we don't really get to know him very well yet. He is maturing a lot, and that's always a good thing. Maturity in a once immature character is always a good sign of good writing, because if they're not learning and developing, then what's the point of having them in the show? So, all in all, a really fun episode. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go back and watch it. It is, I keep saying this, not my favorite episode. We're getting there, but one of my favorite episodes. This one and the library episode are some of my favorites just to watch. The one where they have the stories of all the main characters is my hands down favorite episode, but this one and the library episode are really fun to watch. So with that being said, I hope that you guys like this review. If you do, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments so I can either change my editing style or stick with my old editing style. If you guys would like to give me a follow, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Go, you know the thing.
I do want to thank all of my subscribers for hitting the subscribe button, and I want to thank you for getting this far in the video. We are growing pretty good, and that is because of you and my. We are about halfway to the monetization in watch hours. So I really, really, really appreciate you guys for hitting the subscribe button, because we're in, I believe, I can't remember. It's either 100 or 200 range. I want to hit 500, and that is all because of you guys hitting that subscribe button. So with that being said, all in all, great episode. Again, thank you guys for showing up and sticking with me. Let me know if you like this editing style, and we will see you next time. Peace.